In this world, the hardest debt to repay is a debt of gratitude. The hardest faith to keep is a promise. And what cuts the deepest and causes the most heart-wrenching pain is often not the bayonet of an enemy, but the betrayal of a brother. The story takes place in mid-19th century China, an era soaked in blood. The Taiping Rebellion had erupted and the Qing court was corrupt and incompetent. 14 long years of civil war plunged the land into misery, claiming nearly 70 million lives. What does this number mean? It is equivalent to the total global death toll of World War II. In this era, death came so easily, while living required far more courage than dying. Our male protagonist, Qingyun, was a man who crawled out from a pile of corpses. As a general in the Qing army, the troops he led were completely wiped out in battle against the Taiping army. He alone survived by feigning death to save his own skin. In that moment, he watched helplessly as his brothers were slaughtered to the last man. This despair and humiliation gnawed at his heart like a venomous snake. It was on that desolate morning that he met the woman who would change his destiny forever, Lian Sheng. In an abandoned, dilapidated shack, it was that woman's warmth, or perhaps that bowl of hot porridge, that made Qingyun's dead heart begin to beat once more. He wept as he recounted that the annihilation of his army was not due to defeat in battle, but because he was betrayed by a friendly force, the Qi Battalion.
就是我一个，那是你命好哎。
But little did he know this woman would become an unbridgeable chasm between him and his future brothers. To survive, Qingyun drifted to a destitute village, a gathering place for impoverished peasants forced to turn to banditry just to stay alive. These bandits had two leaders. One was the forthright, fiercely loyal Zhao Erhu, the other was the young, hot-blooded Jiang Wuyang, who viewed Zhao Erhu as both a brother and a father figure. Relying on his battle-hardened martial skills, Qingyun quickly distinguished himself during a raid on a military grain convoy. He not only led the charge, but also saved Jiang Wuyang's life, and even taught these rough ruffians how to utilize tactical maneuvers. That battle not only secured them food, but also earned Qingyun the admiration of Jiang Wuyang. He put the general's boots he had just stripped from a corpse onto his own feet, and in that moment, the gears of fate began to turn. Having just returned to the village, Qingyun saw Zhao Erhu's wife for the first time, and realized she was Lian Sheng, the woman who had once saved his life. The relief in his eyes froze instantly, replaced by a faint, complicated emotion. However, good times didn't last. They had raided the grain of the Qi Battalion, which not only enraged the regular army but invited the Qi Battalion's maniacal revenge. In this chaotic world where the weak are prey to the strong, bandits were ultimately mere weeds. When the Qi Battalion's troops stormed the village, recklessly seizing their loot, and even humiliating them, Zhao Erhu was furious but powerless, because the enemy had guns and cannons, while they had only hoes and iron rods. Just as the whole village fell into despair, and even Zhao Erhu was ready to fight to the death, Qingyun stepped forward. He analyzed the situation with extreme calm, telling the crowd, that being a bandit meant living a dog's life, always being hunted. The only way to stop being bullied and to have full bellies was to join the army. Although Zhao Erhu distrusted the government, he trusted the capability Qingyun had demonstrated, and more importantly, he wanted the village brothers to survive. To ensure absolute trust and cut off any retreat, Jiang Wuyang proposed that the three swear a Toming Zhuang, blood oath, and become sworn brothers. In that dim earthen kiln, they each killed a stranger, using the stranger's blood to swear an oath that would curse them for life. At that moment, although Qingyun recited the oath in his heart, he believed neither in spirits nor in these ethereal vows. He believed in the two brothers before him, who would lay down their lives for him, and in the ambition that he was compelled to realize. Leading 800 village militia, they sought out Lord Chen, who was in charge of suppressing the bandits. Lord Chen was a wily veteran of the political arena. Looking at Pang Qingyun's ragged troop, he calculated how to use this cannon fodder to wear down the Taiping strength, while simultaneously tripping up his political rivals. He gave Pang Qingyun 1,500 unpaid soldiers and ordered them to attack the heavily guarded city of Shu. This was clearly a suicide mission, but Pang Qingyun accepted the task, because he knew this was his only chance to turn his fortunes around. Facing the advanced musket formations of the Taiping army, Pang Qingyun made a mad decision to fill the gap with human lives. 200 brothers had to charge at the very front, using their flesh and blood to win that crucial 100 steps of distance for the archers behind them. He made his brothers charge into a hail of bullets, paving a bloody path with their corpses. The battle begins, a desperate gamble where victory is paid for with lives. These 800 village militia, relying on sheer death-defying ruthlessness, smashed through the enemy lines. The arrival of reinforcements instantly turned the tide of the battle. They won the battle. Shu City was taken. Pang Qingyun rose to fame overnight, and from then on, his troops gained a name, the Shan Battalion. With the accumulation of military merits, Pang Qingyun's ambition continued to swell. He was no longer satisfied with being a minor commander. He wanted greater power. He wanted a seat at the table in this crumbling empire. The imperial court raised the stakes once more, granting him the military strength of 5 battalions and placing He Kui under his command. The high officials wore hypocritical smiles as they ordered Pang Qingyun and He Kui to join forces, one to lead the assault, the other to take over the defense, and the scheming behind this arrangement was self-evident. Pang Qingyun knew that they would not let him take Suzhou easily. The insertion of the Kui battalion was intended solely to monitor and keep him in check. Meanwhile, Zhao Erhu and Zhang Wuyang still simply believed that their big brother led them in war so the brothers could eat their fill and no longer be bullied. This divergence in philosophy gradually revealed itself as the war progressed. After capturing a city, soldiers under Zhao Erhu were caught red-handed by Pang Qingyun raping local women. According to military law, these two had to be executed. But Zhao Erhu firmly opposed it. He felt that since everyone was risking their heads, robbing money, grain, and women was only natural. Besides, these two soldiers were brothers from their village. The two erupted into their first intense conflict. Pang Qingyun insisted on the execution because he wanted to build a disciplined army, not a band of marauders. Pang Qingyun said,
如果我做主，这种事就绝不能再发生。你们投军只是为了不让别人欺负。现在我告诉你，不光你们，全天下的百姓都不能让人欺负。
He needed this army to be the foundation of his political capital and would allow no stains upon it. Ultimately, the two soldiers were executed by Jiang Wuyang himself. Although Zhao Erhu compromised, a thorn had been planted in his heart. 1 year later, inside and outside the city of Suzhou, it was a living hell, littered with severed limbs and corpses. Taking Suzhou meant the destruction of the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom was just around the corner. However, the Shan Battalion was in a desperate situation. They had besieged the city for 9 months. Their provisions were exhausted, and the soldiers were too hungry to even lift their blades. The old foxes in the imperial court, protecting their own interests and shifting blame, refused to send grain to Qingyun. They simply wanted to watch Qingyun and the Kui Battalion wear each other down so they could reap the benefits. Seeing the army on the verge of mutiny, Zhao Erhu made a startling decision. He would infiltrate Suzhou alone to assassinate the defending commander, Huang Wenjin. He wanted to end this endless siege like a lone hero. However, when Zhao Erhu sneaked into the city, he discovered a shocking truth. Suzhou had long run out of ammunition and food. The defenders and civilians were eating chaff and vegetables, even exchanging children to eat. The defending commander did not kill him, but instead confided in him. It turned out the commander had long wanted to surrender, holding out only for the lives of his 4,000 brothers. The two men, pouring their hearts out on the city wall, actually developed a sense of tragic camaraderie. In the end, to save the lives of his 4,000 soldiers, the commander willingly committed suicide, handing Suzhou over on a silver platter. Before dying, he asked Zhao Erhu for only one thing: give these 4,000 surrendered soldiers a way to live, give them steamed buns, and let them go home to farm. Zhao Erhu tearfully promised. He took the commander's head, opened the city gates, and welcomed his big brother, Qingyun. He thought he had done a great deed, securing Suzhou while keeping his honor. But he never imagined that what awaited those 4,000 surrendered soldiers was not hot steamed buns, but a cold rain of arrows. Upon entering the city, Qingyun immediately faced a realistic problem. The Shan Battalion's own food would only last 10 days. Where was the surplus to feed 4,000 extra mouths? If he shared the food with the captives, the Shan Battalion would starve, and the plan to attack Nanjing would fail. In Qingyun's logic, for the greater good and for the future of the many, these 4,000 men had to die. When Zhao Erhu learned that Qingyun intended to kill the captives, he went mad. He had promised to provide them with food and a livelihood. Doing this, how could he, Zhao Erhu, ever face the world again? But Qingyun's mind was made up. To appease Zhao Erhu and prevent a mutiny, Qingyun ordered men to chain Zhao Erhu up. That night, the Barbican of Suzhou became a slaughterhouse. 4,000 unarmed surrendered soldiers were trapped within the walls, cut down by volleys of arrows. Screams and cries pierced the sky. Chained up, Zhao Erhu listened to the screams outside, his heart twisting in pain. He struggled desperately, but to no avail. Standing on the tower, Qingyun watched it all expressionlessly. Although a single tear rolled from the corner of his eye, he knew he could not turn back. This massacre completely severed the brotherly bond between Qingyun and Zhao Erhu. After the Battle of Suzhou, Zhao Erhu was disheartened and wanted to take his men and leave. Qingyun knew that if Zhao Erhu left, the Shan Battalion would fracture, and all his efforts would be in vain. To keep Zhao Erhu, Qingyun actually knelt before him. He promised that once Nanjing was taken, he would lay down his sword and let the people live a good life. Seeing his big brother kowtowing on the ground, Zhao Erhu's heart softened. Although he hated Qingyun's cruelty, he could not let go of their brotherhood, nor could he abandon the brothers who had followed them through life and death. In the end, he stayed, but he said one sentence to Qingyun. Finally, Nanjing was conquered. The Taiping Heavenly Kingdom was destroyed, and Qingyun had achieved unparalleled merit. Meanwhile, Zhao Erhu ignored Qingyun's objections and distributed the soldiers' pay on his own, an open challenge to Qingyun's authority in his eyes. He seized the opportunity to win Zhao Erhu over, hoping to join forces to eliminate Qingyun and take Nanjing for themselves. Meanwhile, the powerful figures in the imperial court were more than happy to see the infighting. The imperial court appointed him viceroy of Liangjiang and awarded him the yellow riding jacket. For a martial artist of lowly origin, this was the pinnacle of honor. However, the peak of power is often the edge of an abyss. Inside Nanjing, Qingyun began to enact his political ambitions. He petitioned the Empress Dowager to exempt the Liangjiang region from taxes for 3 years to allow the people to recover. This, however, touched the cheese of those with vested interests in the court. Consequently, high officials openly instigated conflict between the Brotherhood of Qingyun and Zhao Erhu. Worse still, Zhao Erhu could not shake his bandit ways. He privately distributed army pay in Nanjing, giving money to soldiers, which the court viewed as buying loyalty and plotting rebellion. Zhao Erhu had to be removed, or else Qingyun would not only lose his governorship but his life. By this time, Qingyun was no longer acting just for himself. He felt he carried the weight of the world. He believed only by securing the viceroy position could he truly change the times and give the people a good life. In his view, Zhao Erhu's behavior, ignorant of politics and focused only on the underworld code of brotherhood, had become a stumbling block to realizing his grand ideal. Thus, a cruel plan formed in his mind. Meanwhile, Jiang Wuyang discovered a shocking secret. He found that his second sister-in-law, Lian Sheng, was having an affair with his big brother, Qingyun. Jiang Wuyang, who had always viewed the blood oath as his religion, could not accept this betrayal. In his simplistic worldview, the reason Big Brother had changed and wanted to kill Second Brother must be because of this woman, a beauty causing disaster and ruining brotherhood. Jiang Wuyang naively thought that if he killed Lian Sheng, his big brother would come to his senses and the three brothers could return to how they were. So, Jiang Wuyang tearfully killed Lian Sheng. But he did not know that Qingyun wanted to kill Zhao Erhu, not for a woman, but for power and politics. At the same time, Qingyun set a hongmen banquet, a trap, pretending to send Zhao Erhu on a mission outside the city, while actually arranging for assassins to ambush him en route. Until the moment of his death, Zhao Erhu thought he was going to save his big brother. He was pierced by arrows in the rain, dying in confusion and utter misery.
好兄弟，安心上路。
When Jiang Wuyang sought out Qingyun to tell him that his second sister-in-law Lian Sheng had been removed, he learned the news that his second brother had already been killed. In that moment, Jiang Wuyang's world collapsed. The blood oath he had believed in all his life turned out to be utterly worthless in the face of his big brother's ambition. On the 8th day of the 4th lunar month, the inauguration ceremony for Qingyun as Viceroy of Liangjiang was held as scheduled. The streets were packed with parade participants, flanked by civilians and imposing soldiers. Wearing his official robes, Qingyun walked step by step toward the throne that symbolized power. He seemed to see the blueprint of a peaceful, prosperous age in his mind. However, just then, Jiang Wuyang rushed out holding a short blade and charged at Qingyun. Qingyun was a master of martial arts, and Jiang Wuyang was no match for him. But Qingyun did not deal a killing blow. Looking at his once most beloved third brother, a complex mix of emotions flashed through his eyes. Just as the two were entangled, a gunshot shattered the noise. Qingyun was hit in the back. Jiang Wuyang's dagger finally pierced Qingyun's chest. It turned out the court had never trusted Qingyun. In the eyes of these schemers, Qingyun was just a pawn to be discarded when used up. A viceroy with a heavy army who wanted to plead for the people was a threat the court absolutely could not tolerate. Qingyun was shot multiple times, blood staining the emperor granted Yellow Jacket. He finally understood that after a lifetime of calculation, sacrificing his brothers and forsaking faith, he was ultimately nothing more than a discarded piece on someone else's chessboard. In the final moments of his life, looking at the tear-streaked face of Jiang Wuyang, he ceased resistance. Jiang Wuyang cried out the oath, shouting, Qingyun fell just a few steps away from the viceroy's throne, dying with his eyes wide open. With the sound of two cannons, this tragedy of ambition and betrayal finally came to a close. At that moment, the only thing echoing in Jiang Wuyang's mind was the oath from their brotherhood ceremony. We ask not to be born on the same day, but to die on the same day. Ultimately, Jiang Wuyang was executed by Lingqi, death by 1,000 cuts. A tale of blood brothers ended with all three meeting a grisly fate, leaving behind only endless sorrow and sighs.